Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. It's fishing week. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about that price for GTA 6 and games moving their date to avoid that big September pileup. It's going to be a good one because we have Taylor Cocke on the show. Taylor, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Just stoked to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you could make this happen. This is great. It was awesome to see you for 5 minutes when I was out in LA, kind of like every year. But I wouldn't change it. I'm glad we could at least make that happen. But yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just hanging in there, living the LA life. It's funny to be here right now, considering I haven't played a video game in quite some time because I've been painting little guys.
Oh, you're a little guy painter now.
I'm a little guy painter. I've entered my little guy painter world lifestyle. I got my little tank. He's a little guy.
Is it like? Tell me about it. Like, is it just like kind of going in there with like tiny little brushes, or do you have like airbrushes, or what?
Oh no, I haven't entered the airbrush life. I live in an apartment in Los Angeles.
You're simple, man.
So
that semen in the corner, that semen in the spotlight, losing his
not get poisoned by paint.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, at a certain point, that's what we want, right? Just let the lead take us, send us to wherever the boomers have gone with all their lead poisoning. Just huff that
exactly.
stuff.
I'm completely fine with that. Like, let's party at this point. I mean, of course, I joke. I obviously play video games as well, but like the painting has sort of consumed my existence.
Yep. I believe we have a Seaman up here in the corner here. It's fishing week, like I said, everybody. I think Seaman might have been chiming in. Chat, yes. You can interact with the Seaman. You have to use channel points if you want to talk to him, but I think you can tap if you exclamation point tap. And so I'm pretty sure we're just going to be tapping on this thing 1,000 times per stream. We might relegate him to the pre-show for some of these episodes, but for now, this is good.
I'm not sure I care for Seaman.
Yeah, and look, I don't trust him. But I would never say that to his face. I'm afraid of that.
Grab. I don't know. Why would you pick him up?
Yeah, touch him.
There's something wrong with Seaman. I think there's some sort of disease that if you try to pick him up, it's a problem. It's like picking up a turtle.
Sure.
Everyone says if you pick up a turtle, you're gonna get sick.
Oh, really? Okay. I haven't heard that. I've heard if you touch a frog, you get warts. I've heard that.
There's that. Yeah.
Okay. I was playing Umagari this morning, which is a weird Japanese spear fishing game. And I was like, oh, it's just spear fishing. And I went like 5 feet out in the ocean, and a giant mouth with hair like popped out of the ocean and ate me. And I think that is the eventual evolutionary chain for Seaman. That's what he turns into. Is my guess.
Don't care for it. Don't care for it.
Not good. All right, everybody, let's get into things. Let's explain ourselves. We're Giant Bomb. Go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member. If you do so, you're supporting independent games media. You're also going to be getting ad-free versions of our shows and a bunch of premium-only shows. Go to giantbomb.com/join to see what those are. Also, it's true. It's fishing week, so go to store.giantbomb.com. There's some fishing week merch with an awesome, amazing logo of like the Bass Pro Shop, but done by way of Giant Bomb, and the bomb is a fish. It's great. Go check it out, everybody. I'm getting some merch immediately. Shouts out to Mike for getting that done, and also shouts out again to Chuck for the whole Seaman thing. That's pretty cool. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with this thing again, I guess. GTA 6's leaked prices are probably bogus, reliable insider says. This is from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot. GTA 6 pre-orders go live on June 25th. That's this week. And ahead of that, one retailer posted listings for the game showing higher than expected price points. A prominent and reliable reporter, however, has said those were just placeholders. A retailer called FNAC in some country had GTA 6's standard edition at €90, which is about $100 US. The listing scaled all the way up to €200 for like some of the collector's editions. However, Bill Kuhn, who is someone that like is able to like get into these retailer websites and see what listings are happening and see the prices, says that he is positive that these are just placeholders. Those are just random prices. I mean, the pricing thing is like if it was just going to be 70, I think they would have told us, and yet it still could just be 70. Taylor, what are you expecting to pay for Grand Theft Auto 6?
$70.
Yeah,
70 American dollars.
I think it's going to be 70 actually. Yeah, and now they could charge 80, and I know that there's all these financial people saying like, oh, if they charge 80, they kind of freeze the rest of the industry up to be like maybe one day we could go to 80. If this thing is 70, what other game could ever be $80? That's going to be the big question that I think a lot of the industry is going to struggle with.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's very little chance. I mean, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if they went 80, but I think that there's not really any reason for them to do it. I mean, this game's going to sell 800 billion copies regardless. And then, they're looking to transfer those people into GTA Online or whatever the equivalent is for 6. Anyway, so like they're making money hand over fist either way. I just don't see them taking the PR hit.
Yes, I mean, and I think the whole thing here is that we've learned over and over again is a big game like this can come out 5 days early at $120, $130, and several million people will do that for Forza Horizon. So I would expect 10 million people to do that for Grand Theft Auto, and then they get both, right? It's just $70. It's not some weird headline of this is the game that's going to start moving the price up. Obviously, Mario Kart's already done that, but we've sort of retreated from that. I think Mario Kart did it, and everyone's like, oh, we were going to try it too. There was some other games. Was it Borderlands 4, Chad? I think that was going to be $80, and then they went and were like, oh, never mind, that's going to be 70. So it feels like that retreat's already happened. So now it's like we're waiting for the next game to go to 80. And Grand Theft Auto 6, if it's not going to do that, then it kind of does lock down the rest of the industry. But yeah, I think you're right. Why take the weird PR hit? You could just have all positive headlines. They really do want that. Their stock price over at Take-Two was down a little bit kind of going into this. It's starting to boost back up now that it's like, oh, the pre-orders could happen. And then they also are going to sell this game at an average sales price that is much higher than 70 because the first few million sales will be people buying this game to play it early, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's like if people are just going to give you that money anyway, why take the PR hit? Why struggle, or why even put it out there that like, hey, Rockstar is now a greedy company, especially obviously GTA 5 Online, or I guess it's just Grand Theft Auto Online, isn't it? Is so beloved by like a massive group of people. Why even consider messing with that? I mean, we haven't really seen what GTA Online is going to look like for 6.
No idea.
Whether that's like the same thing but just with more island people would be like stoked. Like and so why even risk messing with the people that have formed your core fan base?
Right. I think that's the thing. There's like so many points of failure in this chain of launching Grand Theft Auto 6 in a state that is acceptable, making sure that people are happy about that, getting the price right, sure. But then it doesn't seem like, at least, I think the Rockstar's history is the online mode usually comes a little bit later, a few months later. It's probably going to happen here as well. They just have said zero about it. That could change this week. Could change in July. We don't know. But yeah, they want to make sure feelings are good going into whenever they do launch GTA Online 2 or whatever that looks like. So I think that they just take the easy wins here. Now, did they think about charging 80? Did they think about charging 100? I'm sure they had those conversations, right?
They had to have. Yeah, I mean, there's no way somebody from 2K isn't like, yo, can you guys let's think about the upfront revenue here. But like, in a world where you're looking at the Fortnites of the world, you're looking at the Robloxes of the world. I mean, I guess at this point, just the Robloxes of the world. Not to be rude to Fortnite, but I think there's just enough evidence out there that if you're operating at a scale that's grand enough, that there's no really reason to like focus on that upfront revenue.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out this week, June 25th. They're going to open up pre-orders. They don't just open up pre-orders, right? This is like, they have to like blow everything out with a lot of information, right? You're trying to activate people to spend money. This is it, right?
I mean, yeah, there's going to be ads at McDonald's and Taco Bell and
Right.
7-Eleven and like, I mean, this is the Halo 2, launch situation. Like Best Buy is going to be, I guess, maybe not Best Buy,
maybe not,
but
yeah, retailers, yeah. I Strauss Zelnick like was talking about, the marketing blitz is going to be big, but like, how is it going to be different than the last time we launched a Grand Theft Auto? And the one thing he said was there will be like fewer network TV ads and things like that. It's like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're going to see it on NBA broadcasts for sure, but
Right.
like I guess the NBA is over, but you're going to see. God, baseball exists.
Yeah, I guess baseball.
I'm a huge
football
baseball
will be
guy,
starting.
but
yeah, this game's out. This game's out November 19th. Is that right? So they'll do a lot of commercials during primetime football. So I guess there will be some network ads there, and then like ESPN Monday Night Football and things like that. And I guess World Cup. They could do stuff during the World Cup now.
Yeah.
Hydration. The entire hydration break is just a trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6. Yeah, why not? I mean, the point is they don't super need to do that. Like they don't obviously they have marketing budget that they are going to spend. They're not going to not tell anybody about this game, but everyone already kind of knows about it. Do you like when you think about that? Is there any, like, how do you approach a marketing campaign like that? Do you ever have any thoughts about that? Because I'm completely lost on that kind of thing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like the simple answer is it's going to sell itself to a certain degree, but you don't want to take any risks, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you never want to have an instance, especially for a game at the scale of Grand Theft Auto 6, in an instance where somebody is like, "That's out this week." What? Like, and I feel like that happens with Call of Duty pretty regularly, at least for me, where I'm just thinking like, "Oh wait, yeah, Call of Duty's out this week. What the hell?"
Yep.
And I think for a game at the scale of Grand Theft Auto, you don't want to do that because this is an opportunity for them to bring in a bunch of new players, especially because it's been when did Grand Theft Auto 5 launch? Like
it's been 2012, so 14 years ago.
Coming up on 15 years.
Yeah.
So like there's a whole new generation.
2013, my bad.
There's a whole new generation of players that is looking to get into this thing and start messing around. So it's like,
right,
you got to build it, right? You got to
right. The hype is there, so why not fuel it, right? Yeah. So
Right.
I guess that's what it's going to look like. I mean, of course, we're talking about this stuff because we just haven't seen the gameplay yet. The videos, the trailers they've shown so far have enticed me. There's a lot of like tech happening there where I'm like, I want to see what that's like during gameplay. I want to see what that's like when I sort of play Grand Theft Auto the way I do, which is as a sandbox. I want to see what I can make happen here. And if it's like, it's the same kind of stuff as always, well, that's fine because I know this game will be modded to hell on PC when it eventually comes here or whatever. And that's how I'll really have my fun. But like having this world sort of be a baseline, just look like, oh wow, this looks really amazing. The twerking physics are working. Good for them. They got it going. So yeah, I just kind of want to see, all right, what's next? What else do you have? What does the game look like? Have you evolved that stuff at all? If I walk 10 feet off the path you wanted me to go down, am I going to get a game over like always? We'll see.
I mean,
all
probably.
Right.
It's Grand Theft Auto.
Probably. It's still Rockstar. Yep. Incredible. PlayStation's PC port era appears over as Sony scrubs key policy language. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC. And we kind of knew all of this, but this is definitely making it official. Sony has removed mention of bringing its first party titles, to PC from an annual business report, seemingly confirming a major policy change. The new annual report was filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission this weekend, and thanks to analysis from GameFile, some notable changes and omissions have been uncovered. Notably, a line from last year's report stated that Sony plans to continue its efforts to deploy its first-party titles to multiple platforms such as PC, had been cut entirely from the 2026 version. This is seemingly the first public omission by the PlayStation maker of a change in release strategy. People are wondering, like, didn't they talk about this? They did in an internal meeting where Herman Hulst addressed the developers and then that leaked, of course. But they've not publicly said anything about this change. Following a Bloomberg report earlier this year that claimed Sony was pulling back from its plans to release its upcoming games on PC, with future single-player games set to be PS5 exclusives. It's also important to point out multiplayer games that would make sense to be on everything, will probably still continue to be on most things. Maybe not an Xbox, but at least a PC. So, yeah, this sort of just puts a period on that sentence, Taylor, where we were kind of we knew this. But it does feel very like, hey, no, they mean it. This is definitely the case. There's no case-by-case basis here. Just kind of across the board, the big single-player games are going to be exclusive. And I keep going back to they're going to want to have something to sell PS6s, because when it comes time to like sell a hardware based on getting excited about hardware, that was already going to be difficult. And now in 2027, 2028, maybe 2029, who knows when this thing actually comes out now, it's going to be so much more difficult because you're going to pair it with a price that is astronomical. So this makes sense to me, Taylor. How do you read it?
I'm really curious to see, like, you know, obviously they want to sell hardware, but how important is that going to be in the next generation? Like that's sort of what I keep going back to is, or even when is the next generation going to even be? I mean,
yeah.
Like, is there going to be one?
I mean, there was going to be one probably in 2027, maybe 2028, but now it just feels like if I'm with these companies, first of all, I probably wasn't feeling too great about that anyhow. Sentiment wasn't super excited about that in the first place. Everyone's like, I don't want to talk about that yet. I don't feel like I got enough out of my PS5 yet. But man, with everything going sideways, it's even worse now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I'm a guy who I don't own a PS5. Like I have a PS4. I am a PlayStation guy since the PS1, but I never bought a PS5 just because it was hard to find at first. And then at a certain point, you know, all of Sony's games started coming to PC, and I'm primarily a PC gamer. And so the games that I wanted to play, I could play. A year later, but like, you know, now that I'm not a games journalist anymore, I don't have to play everything day one anyway.
Oh,
yeah. So and as somebody who, you know, spent a lot of time in this space and is a guy who plays a lot of video games, I kind of wonder how many people are in the same spot as me. Where like, yeah, I want to play those games. Like I'm a big God of War 2018 fan. And I like Ragnarok a whole lot, and I want to play the new one.
Yeah. So
do I want to spend, you know, how much is a PS5 now for the base model? Like $600?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 600, 650 or something like that. Yeah. And but the PS5 Pro is approaching $1,000, chat. And so PS6 seems like it would be more expensive than a PS5 Pro. It's $900 for a PS5 Pro. So we are talking about PS6 approaching $1,000. You know, maybe it's not, but it probably is. And I just
probably.
So here's what I'm hearing from you, Taylor, where it's like you are talking, you're like already sort of talked yourself out of a PS5, and you're not interested in sort of convincing yourself to go back and buy that thing. I think that conversation's even harder for a PS6. And now, I think Sony knows that. That's why they're bringing back the exclusives. That's why they're like, hey, these games will not come to PC. Do not wait. Not going to happen. And I think I think they hold that for a while, and then they flip back after some time when it's like, you know what? We've sold enough PS6s or whatever, but maybe selling a PS6 at $1,000 is just kind of going to be broken no matter what they have on there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I mean, I'm somebody who's not, you know, I'm not immune to hype. You know, like the only reason there's an Xbox Series X in my living room. The only reason that is there is because on pre-order day, I just hopped on Amazon and was just like, can I get one? And sure enough, managed to pull one off. Because I am me, and I managed to get pre-orders constantly on things that I shouldn't. And I don't know, maybe like, you know, like they might drop a new exclusive of that. I'm like, hell yeah, I want that right now. You know, there's like, oh, we're Destiny 3 is launch title for the PS6. I'll be like, shit.
That'd be something.
I gotta get that. So who knows? But I mean, it's got to be something at a level that like people like me are
I think you're right.
excited enough about.
Yeah,
and I
think
don't
right.
know what that game is for like the mass audience.
Yeah, and it's like that's got to be harder and therefore more expensive to make than ever before. So it's like they already are selling very expensive hardware that is going to be hard for them to source. And then on top of that, they got to make a game that stands out from a crowd of amazing games, and not just amazing games, countless games, because there's like innumerable games that will be coming out from all kinds of developers of all scales and sizes across all kinds of devices. And some of those pop off and take over the world. And so you're like, okay, well, we're going to go spend $600 million to make a game that might sell PS6s. It's a tough business to be in. And
yeah, absolutely.
Now, they have some answers to this. This story continues. Elsewhere in Sony's business report, it has added a new section about how Sony is utilizing AI to unleash the creativity of studios and further enhance the PlayStation experience. That is a new thing for this business report. They have previously not mentioned AI. I'll say previously, up until kind of this point, up until recently, it was Sony had been instructing a lot of its developers to not use AI. Like, hey, we're afraid of the legal ramifications. Obviously, that's changed. They don't want to be left behind, and they are looking for some answers here, because I'll continue one more paragraph here. The Sony report has also removed the word profitable from its immediate aims, likely in light of the ongoing component shortage that has caused hardware prices to soar. So yeah, they're like, hey, look, we're not going to be profitable right now, but maybe AI will bring it back. And it's just like, oh, they have no answers to this. And of course they don't. This is like we were just talking about, Taylor, this is a very difficult problem to solve. The one lever that a big company like Sony could pull is they could spend more money making a game than anyone else. And they sort of work themselves into a chute there where now they kind of have to do that same thing. They'd have to spend more money than they're comfortable with, I think. And that's the position they find themselves in as they go to PS6. So yeah, it's a rock and a hard place, man. What do you think?
I mean, I am curious. I mean, like I'm an AI skeptic for sure. By no stretch of the imagination am I a giant AI guy. But I mean, I think there are. I mean, I think in a lot of ways, like the affordability of AI and the speed of AI has sort of proven itself to be.
It's
less than
Fugazi or whatever. Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot to be said there, where it's like, hey, like I think the pendulum's going to swing back pretty hard on the AI thing. I think that there's going to be a situation where a lot of companies are being like, okay, now that we have to pay for tokens, now that we have to pay for, the usage of this thing, hey, maybe we don't need to use it as much as we thought we
maybe
did.
A human would be cheaper. Yeah,
exactly. And we don't have to take the PR hit again from using AI. So yeah, it's a whole thing. I'm really curious. Like it's so hard because like AI is one of those things that I'm morally opposed to in an artistic expression. But I'm also wondering what happens when it goes away. What that crash is gonna look like. We thought it was gonna be the NFT thing was gonna be this big, universal crash, but this is so much bigger.
This is much bigger. Orders of magnitude.
Yeah, and it's going to be really curious to see what happens when that money is no longer coming in, and what's going to happen to game developers. And I'm really, really nervous about that, especially with the state of the industry right now.
Yeah, it's I think that the issue is that these companies are like, even Sony at this point, like when we kind of can look around and see that the expenditure required to do AI on the scale that they're talking about, it doesn't make sense. Maybe it will one day. That's what they are choosing to believe, I guess. But in this moment, it doesn't look like it. And that's your plot, sort of to dig yourself out of the hole of figuring out what's next. And it's like, PlayStation is on top of this heap in a lot of ways. They do make a lot of money from gaming. but they do, like, it is a cyclical business, and you have to sort of restart everything every few years. Now, they did solve that in a big way with the PlayStation Online and PlayStation Network. They're going from PS4 to PS5. They did not experience the massive decline in revenue that they saw in all previous, like, one generation to the next transitions. And so it's like, okay, so they can kind of pave that over and make things work. But it's people do seem like they're like beginning to get burnt out by the things that drove that, which was Fortnites and maybe Grand Theft Auto Onlines. Now, I guess maybe Grand Theft Auto 6 comes and changes that. We were just talking about that. But yeah, they know that like this stuff could fall apart on them at any moment, so they have to try something. And every time we're like kind of waiting to be like, all right, Sony, you're the big creative company with a lot of money who owns this space. What are your answers? And they just never seem to have anything that feels like it's going to sustain them long term.
To be fair to Microsoft.
Yeah, clearly, obviously not, right? Yes, they're just completely lost, and they don't even have the benefit of being like really profitable, right? Their profit margins, they were just saying, are 3%, which is below inflation. That's basically losing money, therefore. So yeah, like they're completely lost. And the scary part to me, though, is like the company on top is also lost. It's like everyone is has their back to the wall here and is looking around for an escape. And the levers they pull are AI exclusives, the thing that they were doing a couple years ago, and they're like, well, that's not making enough money, so let's change it. And they're like, well, now we're not making enough money, so let's change it back. And then what else are they going to do? A new generation that's going to be $1,000. It's, I feel this way. I remember I had Jason Schreier on the couch and kind of like talking to him about it. He's like, yeah, no, it's going to get way fucking worse. I can't say this on Bloomberg TV when I go on there, but it's just going to get worse. And it's like, yeah, I don't think there are a lot of answers. That's what this keeps saying to me when they talk about AI like this.
Yeah, I'm really, really curious. It's going to be a situation. Now, may I recommend, rather than video games, you get into tabletop wargaming?
I'm gonna paint some little dudes.
Look at this little dude. Look how cool he is. He's a little orc guy. He's got a hammer and like a little visor. Like, I'm telling you, man. It's the get back out there into the real world. It sucks out there. It kind of. I mean, I live in LA, so it's a little stinky right now with all the we keep having fires. So that's how this life works. So yeah, it's gonna be weird.
I might just skip over painting the little guys and go straight to like painting tanks and planes and stuff. Some World War II stuff.
I've got a tank sitting somewhere over here.
Hell yeah.
He's not painted yet. Hold on.
Yeah, show me what you got.
I just got him primed up. This is a Tonk.
Oh, look at that. That's yeah, I love that.
It's got a little rotator. It got a little rotating guy here, and I'm thinking orange.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a nice like an Advance Wars situation.
Advance Wars. Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. Please show me when you're done. I love that.
I will certainly show you when I have completed my Tonk.
Shouts out to Tonk.
Shout out to Tonk.
All right, let's wrap up that conversation. We're going to take a break, everybody. When we come back, plenty more headlines to get into, including, is Onimusha going to move? We don't know yet. We'll talk about it right after these messages. If you want to skip out on these, giantbomb.com/join. Premium members get ad-free versions. We'll be right back. We're back. It's Game Mess Mornings. That's Taylor Cocke. I'm Jeff Grubb. We are going to get back into the headlines here with Onimusha, Way of the Sword, may be releasing earlier than planned. This is from John Clark at Day One. The year of Capcom being awesome is set to continue with their latest title, Onimusha, Way of the Sword. It's set to release in late September in what is already a very busy period. However, at least according to one retailer, Onimusha, Way of the Sword may be releasing earlier than planned. This discussion all stems from a recent post shared on Blue Sky from Cheap Ass Gamer, which I'm glad is still out there doing their thing, which lists one retailer, PMP Games, as having set a new estimated shipping date as September 4th instead of September 25th. Taylor, were you paying much attention to all these release dates getting piled up at the end of September because everyone wants to avoid I guess Call of Duty in October, and then Grand Theft Auto 6 in November. You see all this?
I was noticing this during SGF. It's like, oh wait, hold on. There's a lot of stuff happening in September, which is I feel like it's kind of September's a weird release window, right? Like it's
yeah. I mean,
it's not like super crazy, but it's
not like unheard
weird.
of for holidays, right? If you say holidays, a game has come out in September after saying it was coming out during the holidays before. But you're right. It's not like people usually come out for their big games, like the big game that they want to sell for the holidays, October and November. And there were so many in September, and specifically that last week of September. Everyone knew what was happening. It is not some mystery. It's not rocket science. We know what happened here. And then it happened so much that now they had the same exact problem of like, oh, instead of just competing with Grand Theft Auto or Wolverine or whatever, now we're dealing with just countless other games that maybe are at the same scale that we're at, and this could be a problem and maybe even a bigger problem. So I was kind of wondering, all right, if someone was going to break, do they try to break and go like, oh, maybe we'll come out in early November and come out 2 weeks before Grand Theft Auto and hope that we can sort of survive there? Or do they try to move it up? And here we are. The first one might be moving up. I guess we have not had this confirmed yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think you anywhere within I don't want to put a hard date on it, but like it feels like anywhere between like 3 to 4 weeks of Grand Theft Auto is like pretty brave.
Yeah, I think Ocarina of Time remake might do that because it's Switch where there will be no Grand Theft Auto and it's Zelda. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I think Nintendo is sort of immune to this.
Yes,
just because they're Nintendo. And quite frankly, I'll be buying Ocarina of Time before I buy Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, same.
But that's just me. I'm not a big Grand Theft Auto guy, just sort of generally. But did I even play 5? Now that I think about it,
I didn't play through the story of 5, but I would put it on, install some mods, and me and Steph would have. I mean, just me. She was a teacher at the time. I would have Colorado nights and just play around and mess around and try to see what mayhem we can get into, and that's the way to play that.
And this is completely off topic, but I think of Grand Theft Auto as like a game that my parents like. Weirdly, my parents are not gaming people.
Sure.
But like I have a very distinct memory of my mom playing Vice City and just mowing people down and cackling.
I mean, it's a game that you put in, like, especially back then, you would put it on. It would captivate the entire house party. Like, that's where I was playing it at. The whole house party would be like, oh, yeah, when is it my turn? And we'd be like, yeah, no, we'll pass the controller around. And it would eventually get around to the mom that was there. That was like, it would normally just be drinking in the corner. Yeah.
Absolutely sadistic, just mowing people down. But anyway, I think there's like a weird... Because we talk about this every time Grand Theft Auto comes out, right? Like, I remember talking about this on some podcast in 2013, talking about like, what's going to happen. We got to get the hell out of the way. And then, every time they announce a new release date that is inevitably going to get delayed, everyone gets out of the way again. And it's weird because like at a certain point, I do kind of wonder, if Grand Theft Auto holds the same cachet that it once did. I mean, it's going to sell 100 billion copies anyway.
It's going to sell, it will probably actually literally sell 100 million. Grand Theft Auto 5, I think, is at like, correct me, 250 million copies sold or some insane shit like that. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's inexplicable. Like, it's legitimately hard to explain.
But it's like at a certain point, it's like that's going to be the game that is that a one game the person who buys one game a year, is that the one game that they buy?
You know what I mean? I do think it is, though. I think it is. I think it's the reason they buy a console. Now we'll see if they show up for these more expensive consoles, but I don't know. They might just be like, no matter what, I have to play Grand Theft Auto. I'll tell you what, when we were just talking about like, oh, do we move the date forward or back? And you were saying the 3 to 4 week period around Grand Theft Auto avoid. I was like, yeah, do you have to? And I see all these companies all deciding, yes, you have to. And my gut reaction is they know something we don't. They are looking at data and going, yeah, actually it is right to avoid that completely. But I don't know. I feel like one game's going to sneak in the few weeks beforehand and do way better than anyone's expecting. There's also like the chance
to be
like
some
people
friend swap game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. A friend swap game will just like actually take over that month, and it'll be very funny when we're all playing that way more than Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh yeah,
and I look
100%.
forward to
Like,
it.
you know, the whatever the new peak is going to be like this game that is like, oh, why would I play Grand Theft Auto when I can play Peak 2? It's going to be great. I'm going to love it.
We do have a story about the new peak basically coming up here in a second. Let's keep going. CDProjekt Red CEO says Cyberpunk didn't finish its redemption arc. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. And basically the CEO basically said, or co-CEO, that Cyberpunk 2077 never fully won back the trust that CDProjekt Red once had. And I think that's accurate. I think that game redeemed itself, but maybe didn't complete it to the point where it's like, and now CDProjekt Red is unassailable the way it was coming out of Witcher 3 and going into Cyberpunk 2077. Look, what does this story really mean? I'll just say, to me, what it says is that it's good that they are still thinking that way, that they don't think that they have redeemed themselves completely, and that they're going to like maintain some humility and be kind of humble going into whatever Witcher 4 is going to be. And that's what the story says. He's like, hey, we intend to sort of like get back to that point with the next game and make sure that it launches in a way that is nothing like Cyberpunk. At this point, it does feel like a little bit forgotten just how bad Cyberpunk was at launch. Like, it got delisted from PlayStation. Jeff Gerstmann did an interview in Germany because the news, the news there was like, what's going on with the Cyberpunk game? Like, it was off the chain crazy. So yeah, they got that game to a point where most people like it quite a bit. I think it's a good game. It never became a great game for me, but it's clearly a good game at least, and a lot of people do think it's great. So now this studio going into Witcher 4, I don't think they're in some like precarious footing, but they are not on the same footing they once were. Do you think they can regain it?
I mean, shit, I hope so. And like, The Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. Like, I fucking love The Witcher 3. I don't know. I have this really odd memory of, so back when that game was coming out, it was 2020, right? Or it might have been early 2021. Here comes my cat.
Hey, kitty cat.
I was working at a company called Ven TV. I don't know if people remember Ven TV.
I remember Ven TV. I almost applied to work there. Don't worry.
Yeah. It was a good way to make a bunch of money and then get fired.
Yeah, one of those jobs in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. But I remember we were playing 1.0 on stream, and having I was a writer, and then our hosts were playing it on stage, and holy shit, that game was bad. Like, it was immediate. Like, it was crazy. We did like a week of Cyberpunk. Or we planned to do a week of Cyberpunk. The first day we did character creation. The second day we started, the first mission, and it was like, oh, this is fucked. Like, it's we stopped doing it like after day 2 because we're like, this game it looks bad. Like, we had, this is a company that spent way too much money on hardware. If anyone, nobody remembers Ven TV. Only people in the industry remember Ven TV. But we had this massive stage with LED lights and blah blah blah, and like, super fancy screens and everything. And so we're putting it up on the big screen, and we got, whatever we must have had. I think it was probably 3090s at the time. Whatever the high end shit in the hardware was, and it was just, it looked bad, it played bad, it was buggy as shit, and it was like, whoa, okay, coming off The Witcher 3, which again, and I want people to remember this, like this is something that people don't talk about The Witcher 3 enough. That game was also fucked at launch. That game was fucked.
But it was like, right, and the reputation built over time, and it was like set by the way people came to that game, which is most people who played Witcher 3 came to it years later. The majority of that audience came to it years later. The majority of the audience that played Cyberpunk 2077 at this point probably still is on day one. It sold a ton of copies on day one. So yeah, that's the big difference there.
Also, Zayark, yes, shout out to Emma Fife. Emma's the best.
Yes, Emma's great.
But I was Emma's writer. I wrote a lot of words that came out of Emma's mouth. Like, it's again, The Witcher 3, like, they changed the way that Geralt moved in that game. Like,
yes, that's right.
They revamped movement in that game, not just like bug fixes or anything. Like they revamped
like the way it feels to interact with the character. Yes.
Like, and if you go back even further, like, I mean, I think I'm a Witcher 2 guy. Like, I love Witcher 3, but like I'm a Witcher 2 guy. But if you go back and you play the first Witcher, which I think that remake just came out,
they're doing. I think they're doing a full remake that's coming soon.
Yeah. Oh, right. They're right. Yeah. There's like the enhanced edition. Sorry, I'm gonna make sure my other cat doesn't jump on my. Don't jump on my minis.
Come on, kitty cat.
There are too many cats in this household, and by that I mean 2.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Two is too many cats. But no, yeah, you go back to The Witcher 1, and I think people, when they play the remake, are going to realize that game is also fucked. Like CDProjekt Red doesn't make, at least on launch, when a new Witcher game launches, or a new CDProjekt Red game launches, it's oftentimes not great.
They're doing so much, and I think they focus on a handful of things, and then they almost just do need that brute force of a critical mass of people playing it to be like, here's where the real friction points are. Now, of course, they probably could test that stuff out, but they were kind of like a scrappier, Central European developer that was just like, oh, we're gonna figure this out and put it out there and try to make some money, and then we'll go. And now they kind of don't have that pass anymore. They do have to get it right at launch because people have such huge expectations for these things now. That's not the way people talked about The Witcher, and then Witcher 2 was like, oh, this kind of continues, and then they got better, and then Witcher 3 came out and said, wait, this is pretty good except for this and this and this. And then as the expansions came out for Witcher 3, that's when things really clicked. That's when it really changed. So now,
it's Blood and Wine is the name of the expansion.
I think so. Yes.
Exceptional. It's just tremendous. Like it's when they hit.
Yes.
But I mean, I think you're right. Like, talking about, like, you heard whispers of The Witcher early on. Like, I remember, thinking of it like 2010, 2011, 2012.
I remember Vinny talking about it. Yeah. I remember him like being a Witcher guy, Witcher 1.
Yeah, and you just sort of heard, like, this sort of like Euro slop is what we were calling it at the time. Yep. We've been calling games slop for a long time. It was like that, and like Metro 2033 and like Stalker were sort of all in the same conversation. There was this weird like Eastern European, like
Chan wants to that we were calling it Eurojank, but maybe
Eurojank. That's what it was. You're right, absolutely. Eurojank. My apologies, chat. That was my bad.
They take their Eurojank very seriously over here.
So like there's a lot of that sort of stuff floating around at the time, and when The Witcher 2 came out, sort of that sort of like Eurojank thing kind of exploded, and saying like, oh, this can sort of transcend that. These aren't games for complete sickos. These are games that can sort of like be interesting in their own rights. And I think and I have a theory here, but like we can talk about this later. We'll talk about this, Grubb. But it's I think FromSoft did a lot of work for them.
Yeah.
In that, like, those, when Demon Souls and Dark Souls started to pop off, they're like, people were like, oh, we can play janky games and get weird with it. And so like then people were kind of more ready for The Witcher 2. People were kind of more ready to go back to The Witcher 1. People were ready to play, those Metro games or Stalker. I think there was like that sort of like change in mentality of like, hey, we can play these janky hard games, kind of shifted over, and people were saying like, oh, now it feels a little bit better to play those games.
Yeah, I think FromSoft did a lot of work, you're right, to like sort of open up people's tastes and kind of get it away from the shiniest, most sheen, most polish, just massive games that obviously had a ton of money spent on them. And instead it was like, what's actually happening here? What can I actually interact with? How does it feel to play? And FromSoft should get some credit for that. All right, let's keep going here. Unreal Engine veteran leaves Epic Games, says the industry is at a pivotal point. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. Sort of just use this as a jumping off point for kind of where that Unreal Engine developer update sort of left things. Sjord De Jong has worked with Unreal since he was 15 back in 1999, and he's been at Epic, I think, for the last 12 years. And he just said, after 27 years of Unreal Engine and 12 years at Epic Games and Unreal Engine, I have decided to move on. Last week was my last week at Epic. This has been an awesome ride that has been truly life-changing in so many ways. I didn't have an easy childhood or youth, and things weren't going anywhere, but all of that changed entirely when I discovered Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine 1, 2, 3 put me on a very interesting trajectory for life, which in turn had a profound impact on myself as a person, my personal growth, and opportunities that opened up. And then Unreal Engine 4 and 5 did it all over again, having gone through the whole of the Unreal Engine 4 era and then the Unreal Engine 5 era. While at Epic, it gave me a tremendously wide and deep view across the industry and the world. Dozens of countries visited, blah, blah, blah. Let me kind of jump here. But all that being said, I feel this era has come to a close, and it is time to move forward. The industry is in a very interesting place. The games industry has always been an industry where change is relentless and inevitable. But it feels like we are reaching a pivotal point now, and a potent mix of things. As much as I love the old ways of working, I think it would be strategic to come to terms with where this is heading and to work out how to adapt and excel at solving the challenges and opportunities that we face. Let's see where we end up. Zhang does not say that he's leaving because of AI, but this does come as Unreal Engine 6, the sort of debut of that thing, made a big deal about, hey, you know that thing, that visual scripting language that Unreal had, that Expedition 33 was coded in, and that Game of the Year was coded in, that everyone really loved. Well, we're getting rid of that. We're not going to have that anymore. Instead, just use Claude code to do everything, rigging, to make the textures for your characters, animations, everything will be done in Claude code. And I think people who sort of, here's what it sounds like to me. This person, DeJong, fell in love with becoming an expert in how these systems work together to make games. And to them, that was the art, that was the thing that drove their passion. And I think that comes through here. And I think it's also one of the things that probably made this industry special over the last 15 years or so, and going far beyond that. And they see that slipping away and getting replaced by something else. Now, the very optimistic argument would be, well, this is democratization. Everyone can now make something. But I think there's something to be said for there's a wizard back there working at Epic that really knows how all this stuff works, and they're making magic happen. And that's my own experience, right? You try to see how these people, you go play some vibe coded games or whatever. Okay, let's see if anyone's actually making anything here. And then you go play something by someone who actually knows what they're doing. Or we have Chuck made a game for us, a while back. And it's that was just someone figuring out how this stuff works. And having that person that actually knows how things work is still special to me. And I don't want this industry to lose that. But they might be opting to leave because they don't see a future for themselves. This is grim.
It's wild. Yeah. It seems dark. It's we obviously have to have creators in the industry, right? That's important. But games are so technical, and making games is such a technical endeavor that it when you start losing the people that can kind of do both, it gets a little wonky, I think. It's I don't even know where to start with it, because it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, people, you have the classic concept in the video game industry of the idea guy, right? And every 16-year-old kid imagines himself to be the idea guy for a new game.
Yeah.
And I've got this great idea for a game, and I just need to find somebody to code it. It's like when you're 16, that's like a thought that at least I had. And when you start losing that sort of technical know-how, it's such a bummer.
It's it even goes I'm trying to think of other examples. There's that whole idea in painting of my kid could paint that, right?
Right.
And it's okay, yeah, but why does it feel different when Jackson Pollock does it? Why does it feel better when Picasso, who could paint perfectly photorealistic pictures if he wanted to, then decided to do something different that you claim you could do, and maybe you could do something that like sort of has the same shape to it, but does it have the understanding underneath? And that understanding comes through the art and is noticeable.
Absolutely.
It makes it adds power to it. And I think that's the thing that we're talking about losing here. And that the struggle of going through all the learnings, the processes, and the lessons of becoming someone who can build anything. And then if they then decide to try something else that is simple and basic, you're like, oh, wait, what do they know that I don't? And I want to go discover it. If it's just some Yahoo typing in a prompt, it's so devoid of meaning that it breaks the entire thing.
Yeah, you have to have that intentionality there, right? Like you have to and art is so much better when there's an understanding of the background behind it. Like you said, I mean, I think a lot about like oh my God, 433. Jesus Christ, the composer. That's gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah, go ahead and look it up real quick. Yeah,
John Cage.
Right.
John Cage, was a proficient like math, and then you think about 433, which is just silence for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. It's brilliant, right? And like that's sort of like the base level of that. Like, and people go, oh, it's just him sitting there, and it's like, no, man, like. Like the intention is there, and like the understanding is it's about depth, and it's about listening, and it's about blah blah blah. The man understands the art, and so like when you think about a game like what's a good example? 30 Flights of Loving is a great example of a game that just got an update for some. Why did they add saves? Why did they add saves to 30 Flights of Loving? That game's like 17 minutes long.
Weird.
Just play it. Also, if you haven't played 30 Flights of Loving, chat, play 30 Flights of Loving. It's amazing.
I've not. I will. I'm gonna go do it.
It's great. It's such a simple game. I mean, it's not simple on the back end. I'm sure the technology behind it is
sure, but it presents as
difficult.
Like anyone could do that, right? Yeah,
right. Or yeah, and the graphics are kind of minimalist and like very stylized. And it's a collection of short snippets, and there's not really a lot of quote unquote gameplay behind it. But then you think about the intent behind it, and the artistry, and the way that these guys crafted a very core experience, or very tight experience, that you start to understand what's going on in that world, right? Like you start to really get it.
I mean, even like where it's like a game where I don't care about the intention. The fact that it's there, I think, does matter. Like, even if like it's something I ignore, the fact that that's something that I can ignore matters to me. It kind of makes it feel like I'm making a choice separate from the artist. I'm in conversation with them, but I got to feel like they are at least on my level. If I'm going to put my time and engagement into this thing, I want to feel like that's a conversation worth having. And again, I'm not going to feel that way if it's just pooped out in a prompt. So yeah, I think we are going to see a little bit of a lot of people like who have built their careers by being experts look around and go, wait, do I need to find some other ground to go to? And I'm interested to see how it shakes out. And I hope that they don't go too far, because we're probably going to need them again once all this insanity goes away. Yeah. All right, last couple of stories here. Devil May Cry remake. It got rumored like there's a remake of the first one. Maybe it says claimed that it's pretty far along. Andrew Hyten over at Insider Gaming was like, hey, there's someone who's a leaker that's been hit or miss saying this. I'll just point out that Devil May Cry 5 had its best year ever, like this last year, like better than its launch year. It sold more copies, I should say. Obviously probably didn't make more money. Those are probably selling for $5, but more people are playing those games than ever before. And the idea here that Capcom wouldn't remake a game is insane. They clearly are the masters of that right now. So them looking at Devil May Cry, seeing that franchise sort of on the upswing, I think that naturally leads them to this. And if it's not in the works now, I think it probably will be. So
yeah,
I expect that. How about you?
I mean, like Capcom's on a roll, right? Like Capcom is crushing it. Might as well keep it going. Like, I mean, like they have I was like 3 games coming out this year, and like all of them look sick.
Yes,
and so why not have another piece of little bit of filler? I mean, Devil May Cry is cool, man. Those games are sweet.
Yep.
I mean, Devil May Cry 1 is no DMC.
That's right. Hell yeah.
Rest in peace, Ninja Theory. But like those games are cool. Like I would love to go back and play the first Devil May Cry. I haven't played that game in years and years and years.
I think this would be great. I think this is the exact sort of thing you do, and then like Chat says, you remake DMC2 into a good game, and that's what Capcom does. It's like, yeah, we'll give you the game you love again. We'll make a new game. Now we'll take this other game that was a little bit spotty, and we'll turn it into something else. They have this down to a science now, and Devil May Cry is definitely one of those ones that feels like it's on the precipice of reaching that next tier of popularity, and I think they can sort of bring that home.
Devil May Cry in the RE engine would be rad.
I think it's yes, absolutely, and I think we're gonna kind of see how that expands here pretty soon. I did skip that story about Meccha Chameleon selling 7 million copies. Yeah, have you heard about this?
I had a good bit about putting on my Meccha hat.
Yeah. There's good. Planned. Yeah. Have you seen what Meccha Chameleon is? It's that game. It's a friend slap game where players are basically just like stick figures, and you go into a detailed world, and it's hide and seek, but you can paint your body. So people who are really good artists are like putting themselves in front of the Mona Lisa and then like repainting the Mona Lisa on their body and blending in perfectly with the painting. And then people can't, or like
that's cool.
Or like 3 friends will come together and they painted themselves to look like the turtle next to another turtle, and they did get caught. But it's great. The one player just comes out with a gun. You got to look for the person and see if you can find them. It looks like a lot of fun. I would be terrible at this game. I kind of want to.
I would be truly dog shit at it. Yeah. And I mean, anytime I get to shoot my friend with a gun, that's cool. But
yeah, that's what games are for.
That's all you need. No, but I think that there wouldn't be. No, that sounds rad. I'm sure it's popping off on Twitch right now.
It absolutely is. It's everywhere. Social media.
Check that out.
I've seen a lot of clips on Instagram. That's kind of where I've been seeing it. Although,
great.
Yeah, I was told to play this like as it was coming out. I'm like, we'll get around to it. And I'm like, we should have played it earlier, but we'll make it happen soon. Last story is a PSA. If you have not reserved or like pre-ordered your Steam controller yet, it's out, but you have to pre-order to get into the queue. Yours will not be fulfilled until 2027 at the earliest, says Steam.
What the hell?
So those things are selling like crazy. Yeah.
It's what?
Yeah, it's June. In case that's what you're asking. It's June now. Yeah,
it's June. It's 2026, right? Yes.
It's 2026. So 6 months from now, you might get one. Like
you said 2020, when you said 2027, my brain went, that's 2 years from now.
Yeah. Right.
Nope.
No, this is where we're at. We're just barreling forward through time in a way that is just unconscionable. All right, that does it for the headlines. Yeah, obviously, they got to pair the Steam controllers with a lot of Steam machines and stuff like that, so they got to save some aside. All right, everybody, let's see here. Let's start wrapping things up. There was no poll question from Friday, or because we were off on Friday, but no one from Thursday either, because we did the Bomb 12. We'll have a new Bomb 12 this week. Go over to giantbomb.com, submit your game for the Bomb 12. There's a vote here button to the left. Click on that. I do have a new poll question, which we'll get to here in a second. Before we do that, Taylor Cocke, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, and all that good stuff?
Sure, yeah. You can find me on Blue Sky at TaylorCocke.BlueSky or whatever my handle's Taylor Cocke there. You'll find me.
Yeah, you'll find him.
It's the one where my last name is the penis is the penis word with an E on the end.
Penis word with an E. That should just be your handle, actually.
It was for a while. And then if you want to find, I have just recently started a blog writing about writing about miniature wargaming. So if you want to find me there, it's amateurhourwar.games. So if you want to find me over there, I will be writing a blog at least once a week about the games that I've been playing. This week I will be writing about This Quar's War, which is these little dudes right here. Little anteater motherfuckers. This guy's got a tea kettle.
Man, I bet my kids would be in this too, into painting miniatures as well. Actually, they love little craft stuff like that. I can get them to do it for me. That'd be fun.
It's a blast. A lot of fine motor skills.
Excellent. All right, let's see here. New poll question: Did you get a Steam controller yet? Yes or no, or I'm not getting one. That's your poll question. We'll get the results on Wednesday because tomorrow's Tuesday and we do the Bombcast on Tuesday. Then we're back with the Game Mess Mornings show for the rest of the week after that. Let's see. It's fishing week, everybody. It's fishing week. You could see Seaman partying with us up there, I think, or maybe up there. Yeah, we don't trust him, but he's there. You could tap on the glass. Just hit exclamation point tap and chat. You could also use your channel points to talk to him. It's incredible work. I'm so excited about this. But hey, then we're going to be playing fishing games. This morning, I played Umagari, which is a Japanese spearfishing game where I got eaten by a giant mouth in a way that I wasn't expecting. There was a fish in a schoolgirl outfit. Didn't like that.
Even worse.
There was a fish in a straitjacket. Didn't even like that.
That seems better considering the fish is contained.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah, we're keeping it sort of into itself and away from us. That's fair.
Get Seaman out of my face.
Yeah. Man, Seaman should be in a straitjacket for sure. I'm going to play through the rest of that game in the morning, the rest of this week. But then we have all kinds of other fishing games happening. Let me see here. I got some stuff sort of generally planned out. Later today, we're going to do voodoo fishing. We're going to do some voodoo fishing. This is a friend slot fishing game. So look out for that. And then we'll have stuff like Sega Bass Fishing later this week. And we're going to do some web fishing for UPF. We're going to hang out all this week. It's going to be great. Go to store.giantbomb.com to check out our Fishing Week merch. It's really, really good. And thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us this week. Really going to enjoy it. All right, let's see here. I think with all that out of the way, let's hop out of here. Taylor Cocke, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course, anytime.
Thank you all for watching and listening. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself.
It's cold in here. I'm getting scared.